In this video, we'll discuss the cellular events involved in acute inflammation. Welcome to MedExplain. Let's get started. As we have already discussed in the vascular events, that it results in the dilation of the blood vessels, making it more permeable. Eventually, the white blood cells jump into actions to hunt down and destroy the invaders. Basically, it has 5 steps, as you can see over here. It is margination, adhesion, diapetesis, chemotaxis, and phagocytosis. A small mnemonic has been provided. My rat ate delicious chocolate pastry. We know that in the last step of inflammation, that is stasis, where the blood flow slows down, the WBCs move to the edges of the vessel. This is called margination. Basically, the endothelial cells have selectins that slow down the movement of white blood cells, and they make them roll along the walls of the vessel. Second step is adhesion. Rolling is never enough. WBCs need to stick to the endothelium. For this, integrins that are already present on the WBCs bind to the ICAM1 and VCAM1 on endothelial cells. Together, they make a firm attachment. As vasodilation creates gaps between the endothelial cells, the WBCs squeeze through these gaps. That even though it is painful, they somehow make it. And finally, they enter into the battlefield, that is the tissues. It is mediated by PECAM1, and this process is called diapetesis or transmigration. Moving on to the next step, that is chemotaxis. We know that WBCs have squeezed out of their way through the endothelial cells, and finally they are into their battlefield, that is the tissues. Certain chemotactic factors are released by the bacteria like C5a, LTB4, interleukin 8 and other bacterial products that act as signals for the WBCs. And the WBC eventually follow this chemical gradient like a GPS and move towards the site of injury. The fifth step is phagocytosis. Once they reach the enemy, WBCs eat the pathogens and the debris, and it has the following steps. The first step is recognition and attachment. For this, opsonins, mainly immunoglobulins like IgG and C3b, help to tag the invaders. Let me give you a quick example for this. Alright, I know this might sound like a weird comparison, but hear me out. You might have seen tags on the ears of cows for identification. The same analogy applies here. Immune cells put a tag on bacteria to help identify them for invasion. The second step is engulfment, where WBCs form a phagosome, a membrane bubble around the pathogen, followed by killing, where lysosomes release reactive oxygen species and enzymes to destroy the pathogen. This is basically WBCs digesting the bad guys. Finally, we have 2 scenarios here. If the invaders are destroyed, then WBCs are going to release anti-inflammatory signals and eventually the healing begins. But if infection still persists, it will convert into a chronic inflammatory case, or there will be a formation of abscess. Alright, here is a question for you. Listen carefully. Which step in leukocyte recruitment is directly affected if integrins are defective? Option A, rolling. Option B, adhesion. Option C, diapetesis. And option D, chemotaxis. Think. Alright, time's up. If you know the answer, drop it down in the comment section below. Alright, if this video made inflammation less of a headache, then hit the like button. It's free, but it keeps the grind going. And if you're new here, subscribe for more no-nonsense medical breakdowns. Oh, and don't be selfish. Share this with your friends who might need a quick revision. See you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay savage.